Liz here from LizDialto.com, and today I have a very special guest. And I realize I say that every single time. I only bring you very special people. But this person in particular, I have freshly, just the other day, finished her new book, WomanCode, her first book. It's your first book, right?
It's my first book. It's my baby.
And this is Miss Alisa Vitti. You say Vitti or Vitti?
Vitti.
Cool. Just making sure I got it right. And I am obsessed with her right now. Like, I have a total woman crush on you professionally. I love your message. I have been shouting from the rooftops that every woman really does need to get your book. So I'm going to finish introducing you here, and I can't wait to actually let you start talking. I went to her LA book launch party last week. It's always a pleasure to hear her speak. She's just a genius, total genius, and one of really the thought leaders right now forging the way for women to get on the same team as their bodies, which you know is a very important message to me. But she's one of the really smart people who's been able to take like some high-level science, things to do with our cycles and our hormones and our endocrine system, things that make my head spin, but translate it in a way that's so easy for non-techie, non-science people like me and some of you probably to understand, so you can just put it into practice and use it. So hello and welcome. I'm so excited to have you.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here, and I love that we're having matching neon.
Yeah, it's really important to...
It's so important. We're color coordinated.
Totally. So tell them a little bit about your story. I was not going to rob you of that opportunity because you obviously know it better than anyone.
Well, I mean, I never was looking for my period to be like the holy grail of my life, and I never thought hormones would be something that was just so important. But when mine broke down, I really got the memo, and then some, that hormones affect everything, and how you feel in your life and the ability that you have to create success in your life all comes from how well your hormones are operating. So, I really found myself at a young age just struggling. Picture me 15 years ago, over 200 pounds, covered face, chest, and back. I know, and get real close to the camera. Look at that. I was covered.
Flawless now.
Do you want to kiss? You want to lick it a little bit? It was covered face, chest, and back in cystic acne. I mean, it would take me half an hour in the morning to spackle and just cover it up so I could get out of the house without feeling ashamed. And then, just not getting my period, not being able to sleep, not being able to wake up, depressed, miserable, just really trapped in my own body. And again, just really getting present to how profound the effects of hormonal health are in the body. So everything changed. I was at Hopkins. I was fully on my way to becoming an OBGYN. And when this hit, I kind of saw that path wasn't going to allow me to serve women the way that I wanted to. And I ended up, out of necessity for my own healing and just saving my own life, because I just couldn't function. It's not like I wasn't feeling good and I was still muddling through, not being able to get to class the way that I wanted to, not being able to eat on a normal schedule, not being able to socialize, not being able to move. I mean, it was just life wasn't happening. Everybody wants to have forward motion in their lives. And I really, really saw that if your hormones aren't flowing, you don't have any forward motion. So that's what began my journey. I started studying all sorts of interesting things, endocrinology and nutritional genomics and Chinese medicine, and I synthesized it in a way that was very practical for me. I'm a New Englander by birth, and I wanted some step one, step two, do this, because I just wasn't jiving with this whole loosey-goosey kind of approach to health and wellness. I needed to know that what I was doing was going to yield a result, and I think especially because my symptoms were so acute, with the polycystic ovarian syndrome, that I needed to know that whatever I was doing was going to get me better. And that's kind of the basis of the protocol that I've been using for 10 years in clinical practice. I mean, watching my own body just transform was, it's game-changing, right? And you see this with your clients all the time. When they witness the power that their body has to metamorphosize, you're just hooked.
Yeah.
And I wanted to spread the word. After I saw it in myself, I said, okay, and I remember thinking, if I could get better, I wanted to help other women because I had wished in that moment when I first figured out what was wrong with me, God, I wish somebody could hold my hand and help me, get out of this dark hormonal hell that I'm in, and
Yeah.
it's just a privilege now to be able to help so many women in 6 continents, and now with the book even more. It's a joy, really a joy. Like, I just imagine little ovaries lighting up all over the planet and thinking what good might come of that.
Yeah, and I loved, as I'm reading through the book and I'm reading the stories of all the different types of people, one of the things that I realized was I've never really had a messed up period, like no major issues or anything like that. But even in the book, you're saying, like, if your period's super heavy, and I've had those where it's like an hour goes by and you're changing your super tampon and you're like, do I need to go to the hospital? Even stuff like that you're saying, listen, we just got to figure it out. And there's easy tweaks and there's stuff going on. But I also love how the way you present this information and even the title, like calling it WomanCode, you're empowering women to say, just your body is so amazing and it's so smart and it's telling you exactly what you need to know, and you're showing us how to look at it and decode it instead of just like taking another pill or doing some other unnatural thing that your body doesn't really need. Because a couple of years ago, and it was, 2 people really made the biggest difference for me that got me actually looking into this kind of information. One was Chris Carr, when I heard her speak at RHH Live in 2010. And the other is my friend Monique Revis, who you met at the book launch. She's goddesshuntress.com. And
Love her.
she's all about clean beauty, like getting rid of the toxins. I had never even thought of the fact that, like, your skin is your largest organ. And all of these endocrine disruptors, which she talks about a ton of them in the book, which, by the way, just get the friggin' book and get the hard copy. I got it on Kindle, and then I got the hard copy. Hard copy for a book like this, you're going to want the hard copy for reference. She is great. Food lists, all this stuff. Get the hard copy.
Thank you. I think it's true. I mean, I think you need, I wrote the book so that you could read it and savor it, and and to have it something that you could go back to for your entire life. I think of this book as like what to expect when you're expecting, except for all the times that you're not pregnant, because this covers everything around, like, how do you live in a female body, be healthy, feel great all month long, get pregnant when you want to, recover after your baby, keep your sex drive, keep your weight the way that you want, use your hormones to transform your health, but then lean into your hormones to really change any aspect of your life that you want. And that's everything else that we need information. And there's a code, it's in you. You just got to access it. And I do think the hard copy is better.
Yeah. And so one of my other favorite things, you'll learn this about me, you probably already have. I love going off on tangents. Cycle syncing. You're a genius. So
Thanks.
Instead of, I've literally spent the majority of my life, as I'm sure most women can relate to this, you hate your period. You dread your period. You dread the week before. And everything in between is just that, the time in between, instead of appreciating the different parts of the cycle and, like, what you could do during each. Can you give us, like, aerial overview? Tell us about cycle syncing. And I seriously, women paying attention to this right now, this is one of the most genius things I've ever heard of in my life.
I'm glad you like it because, you're someone who I think typifies the type of woman who I like to see out in the world. You're your own person. You've got your own business. You're in a great relationship, creating that in the way that you want. All of these things. You're living bi-coastally. Like, you're totally crushing it. You know what I mean? You're living the way that you should. And I love that for you, you're feeling like you want to even do more.
Yeah.
Right? You want to live more intelligently, with more grace, with more ease, leveraging your body even more. And that's really where this came from for me. Like, I don't know about you, but years and years I tried, like, all of the time management systems, all of the, productivity, whatever I could get my hands on, because I wanted to be the most successful version of myself. This is my one wild and precious life, and I wanted to just go for it, right? And I always found myself really struggling to keep performing in the same way each and every day, because my body keeps changing.
Yeah.
And I just, so I was sort of, this cycle syncing was born out of these two experiences. One, sort of understanding and appreciating that there's this linear way that we're all taught we're supposed to live that somehow my body doesn't fit into. And then two, just deep study of our cycle and our endocrinology and how it actually changes our physiology and our neurochemistry. And when I kind of allowed those things to marinate inside of my brain, I thought, oh my God, it totally makes sense. If I put them together, yeah, exactly. If I just put them together, I can actually set up a life plan for myself that not only keeps me healthy, but just allows me to do more with less effort. So think about it this way. You have 4 phases of your cycle: follicular, ovulatory, luteal, and menses, right? And these 4 phases have unique hormonal combinations and ratios that change the way you think, the way you feel, the way you move your body, the way you rest, the way you want to have sex. Like it affects everything, right? And so you need to do 2 things. One, you need to eat specific foods that optimize those hormonal ratios each week of the cycle. And then you need to kind of prioritize the activities that are in alignment with that hormonal ratio, the hormones that are flooding your brain to do certain things. You need to just prioritize activities that support that so that you're in alignment and you're living cyclically. And what's really cool is if you do this for 1 cycle, it feels really great. Then you do for 2, then you do for 6 months, a year, and all of a sudden you look back over if anybody's having any concern like, wow, if I abandon the linear lifestyle, you look back over a year of living cyclically, right, doing the cycle syncing, you make so much forward motion. Think about like climbing a ladder versus turning the wheel of a bicycle.
Yeah, such a great way to think of it.
Right? You push the bicycle wheel around once, you go so much farther than climbing up 1 step of a ladder. And that's what cycle syncing does for your life. And, it's really just so fabulous because then if you want to think about the energetics of it, right?
Yeah.
The whole divine creation matrix is encoded in your cycle, right? From inception, in setting an intention for an idea, speaking it out loud and bringing it into reality, expanding that, taking action, and then evaluating, gratitude, course corrections, making your next plan. All of that is part of how you bring anything into fruition in your life, and it all syncs up with your cycle.
I love it. And so on the plane, I actually did this. I looked at where I was because originally, when I first heard of you, like forever ago, I started like keeping track. I got some iPhone app from like Always, and I started at least keeping track so I knew what week I was in when. But I hadn't gone like all out to do the cycle syncing until I was there on the plane with the book. I wrote it all out, and I'm like, okay. And it's even hilarious. I've been talking to my boyfriend, James, about this, and I've been saying, this woman is a genius. This is so smart. He's like, yeah, I've noticed a pattern for you.
Of course, men pay more attention than women do. It's ridiculous. We need to leverage what they're listening and observing because they want to use it to their advantage to be more successful partners in the relationship. And we should use it to our own advantage to be more successful in our own bodies and lives. I mean, it's just, you know what I mean? I get excited.
I noticed like right before you get your period, it's kind of like the world is falling down around you. I'm like, yeah, week 3 is really rough for me. So let me ask you a question. Because I noticed, I always hear about this supplement, and I noticed it wasn't mentioned anywhere in the book. Maca. What is your, and
what's my take? Well, first of all, I want to say 2 things. One thing. I hope from reading the book you got the memo that PMS is not normal. It's a hormonal imbalance.
Yeah.
So I just want to connect the dots back to something you said because this is so common. Women say, I don't have any hormonal problems because we associate hormones with menopause.
Right.
We don't think that PMS or heavy bleeding or bloating means that we're having a hormonal imbalance, but it 1,000,000% does. And if you have those types of symptoms now, the 2009 biocycle study that was published by the NIH actually proves that hormonal imbalances, simple ones like PMS in our 20s and 30s left unaddressed, end up increasing our likelihood of developing the big diseases of inflammation in our later years. So that's like the bad stuff, cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease, right? So we can't make PMS and bloating and crazy periods the butt of our jokes anymore. We have to take it seriously, right? We have to take our bodies seriously because they mean business, and just like you do. But okay, to your point about maca, I think maca can be a really great supplement for people. There's one product that I think is one brand that makes a very potent form of it. It's called Femessence. But I haven't had that much success utilizing maca in my practice with women in their reproductive years. Now, I don't spend a lot of time with women postmenopausally, but I think that for postmenopausal women, they feel more of an effect of the adaptogen. The adaptogen that I like better for younger women is actually ashwagandha, because younger women are suffering with a lot more adrenal fatigue than ever before. And there's something about this herb that just really takes effect more quickly and helps with the adrenal piece. Now, if you ask the question about maca because you're wondering if it fixed your periods or your moods, I would say that's not the place I would go looking for to help you with that PMS.
Right.
Yeah.
So ashwagandha, can you spell that for me so I could put a link below? And is it what it sounds like?
It is ASH.
I'm writing it down. ASH.
WANGANDA.
Oh, I could have sounded that out, but I just wanted to make sure. All right, cool. I'll look that up and I'll try that out. And just because I've been putting it in my smoothies and people keep asking me, so I just wanted to make sure to ask you. I was wondering that anyway. So,
I mean, if you're taking it and you feel a noticeable difference, great. If you're taking it and you stop taking it and you feel the same, it's not doing anything for you.
And that's what I always tell people anyway. Bio-individuality, people. You got to try it out, test, and it was great. I actually felt really smart because there was this one part of the book where you talk about how to do that self-experimentation where you try something and then you take it out and then you put it back in. And I'm like, oh, good. I teach people that too, and Elisa's really smart, so I patted myself on the back during that section. All right, so you just said something that is one of the reasons why I extra love your message and really being like a soldier for you and helping to spread this. We need to stop making our PMS and our periods the butt of our jokes. And I think it's important among women, but it's also important like in our relationships, like with the important men in our lives, to sit down and be like, listen, like I'm not being an emotional female or whatever, like this is important to me, and here's why. Do you see more of these discussions happening? Do they happen more around you? Like, tell me about that.
Actually, it's so fascinating. I was speaking at the Downtown Vegas Project a couple weeks ago, and it was a mixed crowd, guys from Zappos and the whole thing. And at the end of my little talk, I was taking questions. And not one woman raised her hand, most likely because she was a little bashful to ask questions in mixed company. But every hand that was raised was male. And they wanted to know how to help their wives, their girlfriends, their daughters, because they see us suffering and they see us being disconnected. They see us brushing it under the carpet. They see us not knowing what to do, and they see us miserable. And they know that it's affecting us, and of course it's affecting them, right? Yeah. Because, for a week or even half of the month, they don't have the partner that they have the other half of the month. And it can be heartbreaking. And I really love the love that men bring to women and their ovaries. Like, really, I don't know. I always say that my husband could sub for these classes now because he's been with me for 5 years and he knows all about my cycle and where I'm at. And, a couple months ago, I think I was under some stress and I was just sort of doing a little too much. And he actually brought up to me, he's like, I'm just noticing that, you're having a little bit more of like a low energy before your period and you don't normally have that. And I said, thanks for that. I was noticing that too. I'm going to do the things that I teach and I would love for you to, I'm going to turn up the volume on those things and keep watch, and let's check back in 2 cycles and make sure that I'm moving in the right direction, right? So there's that simple way that we can partner together. But the other thing that we do is we start to, instead of having like a chore wheel on the refrigerator about who's taking out the trash and doing the laundry, we kind of have like a unspoken like hormonal, we do cycle syncing as a couple, right? So he knows what kind of dates to take me on and when in the cycle. He knows what kind of sex to be having with me based on where I'm in my cycle. Sometimes I want more foreplay, sometimes I want less, and that has everything to do with what phase of my cycle I'm in, right?
That's in the book, by the way, girls. In the book.
In the book. And it's really fun to empower my man to win with me in my ever-changing body, because men don't want to feel like they're not succeeding. And I also just think you shouldn't be afraid to have these conversations with your partner, because if they love you, they want to know everything about you. And if anybody's cracking jokes about like, oh, are you like on the rag? It's like my least favorite thing. Are you on the rag? Oh, it's like I don't know. It's like cold hands in your back. It's like terrible, I know. You just never want to hear that. But, it's like, it's not an excuse. You don't want to use your hormones as an excuse.
Right.
But if people are saying things to you like, oh, wow, you're so hormonal, maybe it's a cue for you to start thinking, gee, how can I take more responsibility to get into better partnership with my body so that I feel good all month long, because that's what your body's designed to do. You're supposed to feel normal. You're supposed to feel great. You're not supposed to have PMS. You're not supposed to have crazy heavy bleeding. You're supposed to feel fantastic and have a sustainable energy and sex drive and mood and weight and all month.
Love it. So obviously I want everyone to get the book, but you also have, because this is what's going to happen. I'm just telling you guys right now, you ladies. You're going to read the book and you're going to want more. You have a digital program that's like kind of to help support people after the book. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it's called the WomanCode system. And actually this was something that we launched last year. I've been in clinical practice for over a decade, and I kept getting more and more and more requests from women all over the world and different time zones and all this stuff. And I thought, okay, it's 2012, y'all. I can use some technology to help ovaries all around the world.
Yeah.
And so I launched the world's first online hormone improvement platform. So it's this really cool thing, kind of like Rosetta Stone for your ovaries. You log in, do the whole protocol from the comfort of your home, in your lingerie, whatever you're wearing, and really get in control of your hormonal symptoms in the short term, but then really start to leverage your cyclical power in your life. And then of course you're in community with other women all over the planet doing the same thing, and it's totally awesome.
Love it. So I'm going to go check that out, and I'll put a link. Everyone, links to everything we've talked about here will be below this video. Alisa, thank you not only for your time today, but for literally doing what you do. I love knowing that this message is clear and it's getting louder, and there's amazing geniuses like you spreading it. So do you have any parting words, anything else? You've already given us so much of your time and brain.
No, I love seeing everybody, reading the book cover to cover. For me, that's like such a testament to just how hungry I think women are right now to find a new way. I think we're just tired of being told, oh, take this pill for this symptom.
Yes.
Take this potion for this problem. Try this fad diet in this magazine article. Like, enough. The way that nature works is so much more brilliant and elegant than that. And if you have all this random symptomology going on, there is a root cause to get to with one system. And it's really great to kind of liberate women from this kind of cycle of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what might stick to make them feel better. Like, there is a code. You can access it. I have it. I want you to have it. Read the book, do the system. You deserve to feel good all the time, and I want you to experience a new normal of health.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
I love it so much. So you can find Alisa all over the internet. Twitter at FLOLiving, FLO living. Facebook, facebook.com/FLOLiving. Go to the website. Again, I'm putting links below the video. Thank you so much. I'm going to let you go. I know you have more interviews today, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.